Hello, my beautiful people. We are going to talk about journaling. I've done journaling in the past on this channel, but we are going to help the folks who want to get into journaling that maybe don't do it, maybe don't know why they can't get into it, maybe they don't know how to get into it. So why do we journal? Well, as an English professor, I like to read and I like to write. So journaling is a way for me to just express myself. And I have different kinds of journals. At pretty much, if you walk within 5 feet of my house, there's going to be a different kind of journal. I have journals in my kayaks. I have 2 kayaks. There's one in each. I have 4 different backpacks now. There's a journal in each one of them. I always say to my son that if he ever wants to do like the collective journal writings of me after I kick it, he's going to be hard pressed because I write in all different kinds of journals. I have gratitude journals and dream journals and all kinds of journals. But what are they, and why should we do it? So journaling really helps us sometimes in different witchcraft communities or pagan communities, even in Christian communities. People keep prayer journals, meditation journals, or shadow work journals, right? And these are just ways for us to put on paper, put out into the world thoughts that we have in our head. And that is really scientifically a good thing, right? It's, there's lots of research that science has done that shows that it really helps us to be emotionally balanced, better balanced, if we're able to put into words, what we're thinking and how we're reacting to situations, how we're discovering ourselves. Like, that is really good for our overall well-being. And it stimulates mental clarification. There's so many scientific studies out there. It's kind of like earthing, walking barefoot on the earth. Like, there are legit medical studies done about the benefits of doing that, and there are legit medical studies about the benefits of journaling. So I will link some things down below if you want to go down the rabbit hole of like academic scientific research. But let's just say, for the purposes of this video, journaling is good for you. So there are all different kind of journals, and I didn't want to miss any, so I wrote them all down. First kind is just a blank journal, right? It's got nothing in it. This one happens to be one I got in one of the boxes I subscribed to, an affirmation journal. But you can just have a notebook. You can have a dollar store notebook. One of those black notebooks you would get for school. I'm old, so the ones with like the weird pattern on the front. Like just a whatever. It doesn't need to be fancy. You don't have to have fancy journals. Some people do like a grimoire, which is a fancier kind of a accounting of the practices and the intentions and the rituals that you do. You don't have to be that fancy. You could just take a blank notebook and write in it. And that's really great for just somebody who wants to just get it out on paper, whatever it is you want. A dream journal is just that. You have it by your bed or wherever you sleep, and you when you wake up, you write the dreams down right away, because you want to do that before you do anything else. Go to water, go pee, whatever. You want to get the dream out. I aspire to do that better, because I have some very telling dreams, and people visit me in my dreams, and then I always have to pee because I'm an old lady that's had babies. So I don't journal right away. Then I run to the bathroom and I come back and I've already lost a lot of the dreams. So dream journals are really, really awesome, because they really kind of cement in what your dream was, because you will forget as you wake up. You can have an artistic journal. If you're not really like a writer, you don't like to write words, you can do artwork, right? So you can have an artistic journal that sort of represents your day or represents your thoughts. And it could be more art-based. And that's really good for people who are more into art than they are into language. You can have a food journal, right, where you write down all the foods that you eat, all the foods that you like. If you're planting things, you can have a journal all centered around the foods that are part of your culture or part of your life. Foods that you avoid. I'm going to sneeze. I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm not. No, I'm not going to sneeze. Okay, so food journal benefits, people who are going through dieting or healthy living or lifestyle changes. A gratitude journal. I have a lot of these around the house where you just kind of write out what you're grateful for. And, trying to be grateful for even the smallest things, right? The ability to be able to be on YouTube, the ability to watch YouTube, the ability to have electricity that allows us to watch YouTube, the gratitude for having internet, you know, because not everybody does. Like, there are a lot of things that we have in our lives that are just so everyday and commonplace that we forget to be grateful for them. But, you know, 20 years ago, these things didn't exist. So, you know, really just taking the time to be grateful for all the little things and the big things together. You can have a reading journal. I do this with my students a lot, where we'll read something and we'll do a commonplace journal, or which is a certain kind of a journal where you sort of write notes as you're reading, and then, you know, you tie it back to the text. But a simple reading journal of like what you're reading and then writing out what you want, you know, to say about what you've read. It's very, very beneficial, you know, if you're reading. A travel journal, again, is very, you know, the name says it all. You go traveling, you do a journal. I did a journal when I was in Scotland that was tied to that specific space and time, and that helps you to remember the trip. You can have a plant journal where you journal about plants and what you want to plant or what you have planted and how you're going to use the plant or how you're going to use the herb or make a medicine or whatever you're doing. You can have a project journal, which is, you know, if you're doing some kind of project, like you're, you know, going off of the Red Cross or you're going off with Habitat for Humanity, you know, you can write about the project itself and what you're doing. You can have a fitness journal. I should probably have a fitness journal, you know, where you're sort of tracking how you're doing with your health and your fitness. And you can have, you know, a pocket journal that's, you know, just a teeny little journal that you carry around with you in your purse, your pocketbook, your backpack, whatever, your computer case, so that you can write things down whenever you want. You can have a junk journal. Those are journals that are, you know, decorated with all kinds of different, you know, receipts and tickets and stickers, and it's a sort of combination of art and writing. If you are pregnant, you can have a pregnancy journal. If you're a parent, you can have a parenting journal. If you're going through menopause, you can have a menopause journal, you know, just, you know, focusing on that particular part of your life. You could have a poetry journal. If you like to write poetry, you can write poetry in it. Or if you like to read poetry, you can talk about poetry that you've read. You know, you can journal about that. You can have a group journal with other people. If you want to, you know, pick a theme, let's like, you know, use gratitude, for example. A bunch of us, a bunch of Hestia sisters could get together and do a group journal. We should totally do that. And, you know, then, you know, you kind of like bounce off. It's like a discussion board, but not really, because you're kind of all journaling together. You could have a productivity journal. Like, you know, a lot of times we hammer ourselves or really hard on ourselves for the things that we don't get done. But this is a journal that sort of, you know, celebrates our accomplishments of the things we did get done. And that could just be getting out of bed in the morning. That's an accomplishment. You know, if you suffer from depression, you know, just getting up and getting dressed and, you know, getting ready for the day, that could be an accomplishment and you should be proud of it. You know, what I, like what I aspire to, what I wish I was doing journal, like sort of a searching forward, you know, hopes and dreams journal, like, you know, your bucket list journal, some people call it that, like, you know, what you want to do in the future, all the things that you would like to get done. You can do a finance journal, you know, where you talk about your finances and money coming in and money going out. You can do, you know, your great ideas journal of all the great ideas that you have, you know, just kind of writing them out. And, you know, maybe it's not something or a project that you would do, but something somebody else should do. A letter journal where you write letters to yourself, or you write letters to your spirit guide, or you write letters to, I don't know, William Shakespeare or whomever. You know, so that you, sometimes we feel weird writing just, you know, to nobody, but this allows you to write to somebody specific. Really, you can write a journal about anything, right? You can do a journal however you want. You can do a different journal every day. You can write in a different journal every day. There are no right or wrong answers to this. As I tell my students, like, journaling is for you, right? And when we talk about the study of journals from a literary perspective, there's a lot of research about, I'm so nerdy, like there's no limit to the nerdiness of me. We write journals for ourselves to get things out. But in the back of our mind, we do know that at some point somebody is going to read them, whether it's our children, our descendants, right? Somebody's going to read these journals, and so we always have that like in our mind somewhere. If you're writing about private things that you really sincerely do not want people to read or get a hold of, you can do a burn me journal, which is that you write it out, you give it a kiss and you burn it in a fire so that nobody else reads it. It allows you to get what you need out of you, but it also gets rid of the record, right? If you don't want things to be read by others, definitely do a handwritten journal and burn. Anything that's written on the web, even if you think it's private, my cybersecurity teacher hat is on. Anything on the web is discoverable. Anything that you put in print is discoverable. So be careful with digital journals if you have sensitive information. If you have sensitive information that you don't want people to read, you write it out, you burn it out. Right? So be careful with that sensitive stuff. Because your rights are not protected in the online space. It's not, a journal is not considered like a confession to a priest or something, right? So you want to be careful, but it's still important to get that stuff out. So write it out, burn it up. Nothing in my life is that dramatic or drastic, and I have terrible handwriting, so my son might be able to assemble the dates, but he doesn't read cursive, so he's going to be able to read any of it. So, journals are for you. They're for you to get whatever out you want to get out, and so that you can work through your shadows, work through any issues that are going on, anything that you really want to tackle mentally, spiritually, emotionally. But they're also to champion your successes. Be sure to write down the things that you're doing great at and things that are really bring meaning and joy to your life, because at the end of the day, light and love is what we want to foster in the world, and we do that by shedding sort of the snakeskin of regret and despair and coming out into the light of hope and love. So I hope this was helpful to you. I am wishing you all the best of light and love. Keep an eye out for weekly journaling, Journal with BRG videos. We'll return to those. I was doing those in the past, and some folks like them, so we're going to go back to them starting in the new year. I'm wishing you all the best of light and love. Be well. Bye-bye.